Hello and welcome to the journey of an entrepreneur, where we'll explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between on the path to entrepreneurial success. I'll be your host, Ryan Batts. Join us as we dive into real-life stories, discuss parallels between business and personal growth, and tackle topics ranging from fitness, family, and just balancing it all together. Whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur or just looking for some inspiration, this podcast is your go-to guide for navigating the journey. Let's embark on this adventure together. Hello and welcome to the journey of an entrepreneur. I am your host, Ryan Batts, and I am very excited for today's episode. Today is a topic that I've been wanting to bring up. I wanted to make sure I got really comfortable with the podcast and sharpen my skills just a little bit before I brought this topic up, as there will be some numbers involved, some statistics involved as I discuss this topic. And also it's a topic that's very close to me, so I will be sharing some personal stories as I talk about this. All right. So without further ado, today we're going to talk about mental health, but more specifically, mental health within entrepreneurship. All right. As we talk about this, I am going to talk about really just the frame of a couple of disorders, more so focusing on bipolar disorder and ADHD. Just to let you know, be very transparent. This is something that I've had to deal with personally. I was diagnosed bipolar when I was in 7th grade. So yes, when you are fully confused and dealing with other things and all kinds of crazy emotions, I was given the great disorder of I was given the diagnosis of being bipolar. Okay, so it was a lot to deal with. 7th grade was a crazy year for me. Obviously only made me stronger, but something that I had to deal with and something I've been dealing with my entire life. Now back then, it was kind of taboo to talk about. I always was kind of embarrassed that I had this disorder, but the more I, became older and a little more mature, it's not something I can help. It's just something that I just have to view as a superpower. So we'll talk about that a little bit, is looking at these disorders a little bit different, not so much as something that can hinder you, but something that is almost can be looked and viewed as a superpower to help you. All right. So we'll first just look at the numbers. I just want to throw out a couple of numbers here, some stats that I found. A study conducted by Michael Freeman, and he's based out of the University of California in San Francisco, found that 72% of entrepreneurs are directly or indirectly affected by mental health issues, including ADHD and bipolar. All right, that's 72%, staggering numbers. Entrepreneurs are 2 times more likely to suffer from depression and 6 times more likely to have ADHD. Imagine that, 6 times more likely if you're an entrepreneur, it's pretty crazy. But the more we get into this topic, it'll be a little bit easier to understand and why those numbers they do correlate, and it makes sense. 30% of entrepreneurs reported dealing with depression compared to about 7% of the general population. And bipolar disorder is found in 11% of entrepreneurs compared to 1% in the general population. So that's 11x increase. Look at that. That's 11% of entrepreneurs have reported bipolar disorder compared to 1% of the general population. All right. And last, you are 2 times more likely to report mental health condition compared to the general population. So entrepreneurs are 2 times more likely. So the numbers don't lie. We've always been told that people lie, so-and-so lie, but numbers, they will not lie. That tells you right off the bat that it is prevalent within the entrepreneurship. All right. So it needs to be talked about. It needs to be discussed. let's first make it fun. Let's see what famous entrepreneurs are suffering from these disorders. We have David Neilman. He is the founder of JetBlue Airways. Richard Branson, founder of the Virgin Group. We have the founder of IKEA. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. I would butcher it. We have Paul Orfila. He's the founder of Kinko's. The famous Elon Musk. We all know him, founder of Tesla and SpaceX. And Ted Turner, founder of CNN, WCW, many other things. But all these either suffer from ADHD or bipolar disorder, the two topics that we were talking about. So all very famous, well-known individuals. Now, they didn't use this as a crutch. They actually used it, as I was saying earlier, as a superpower. They use these things, and they've been quoted many times about dealing with these disorders and how it's actually helped them through their journey. Now, obviously, there's going to be some downtimes, some low times when you're dealing with these disorders, and there are a lot of help out there. I'm not going to downplay any of that. I've lived through it, and dealt with being bipolar, and I haven't been technically diagnosed as ADHD, but I check a lot of boxes. I just know that from who I am and what it entails. Well, first, what does it entail? Well, let's first look at ADHD. All right, let's look at some of the symptoms. It is difficulty focusing, hyperactivity, impulsiveness can be disruptive, but also come with high energy, creativity, and a willingness to take risk. All right, let's break that down a little bit. All right. So the hyperactivity. All right, we need to work. Entrepreneurs need to work, need to grind, especially when you're first starting out. Superpower to me. All right. I know that when I am manic and super hyper, I can go with, minimal sleep, which is not the best way to go about it, but I can work nonstop. My brain, my mind is going. And, if I can focus that through work and through exercise, it is a positive thing. It makes me go nonstop. Now, sometimes there can be a couple side effects, but for the most part, when I'm hyper focused on positive things, it is a superpower. It lets me do things that I know other people cannot. Creativity. All right. You have to be creative to be an entrepreneur. These ideas that come up, to see pictures, to pave that path, not mainly, but a lot of people cannot see. You have to be a visionary. You have to have that creative aspect to do this. So again, it's something that can be used when used right to help you out. And also the willingness to take risk. All right. When there are calculated risks, it's something that can definitely be within your benefit. All right. Now let's look at bipolar disorder. These are alternating periods of highs and lows known as depression and mania. While the lows can be tough, the highs come with increased energy, creativity, and productivity. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about on my end. I have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder since 7th grade, and those manic stages, I have ideas. I'm so creative. I can do and see things. It's not where other people are seeing. I honestly think some of my best ideas and some of my best work comes during that time. Now, it can be a little bit scary because I have to have I got to have somebody to stop me. That's where my, partner, Diana, she is so good at. She is just a steady rock that can, pump the brakes for me sometimes, because I can go 1,000 miles an hour. Let's not even talk about 100, 1,000 miles an hour when I'm in that manic stage. Now I can get stuff done. I can work hard. I have all these great ideas, but I got to be checked sometimes. But it's a great thing. The time I have a endless amount of energy. I go, and I start thinking creatively. So again, I look at it a little bit different. Now, when the depression comes in a little bit, I haven't had to deal with that for a long time. I have a pretty good routine and things that I've done, but I have gone through it, and it is something that can be very tough if not managed well. It's just you just don't feel like getting out of the bed. It's tough. There's no way else to put it. But there are ways to handle it. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll mainly just talk about the ways I've handled it and the ways I've dealt with it. But again, I've never ever used it as a crutch. I've always, it is what, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it kind of is. It's just part of me. It's who I am. All right. It's just something that I've dealt with. And for the most part, I believe it's helped me. Now, it's made me think a little bit different. So sometimes I can't relate to some things, and people might view it as me as being weird. My family call me weird all the time. I like the word unique, but nonetheless, I think people who are weird are cool. People that are unique are cool. And I think they're the trailblazers. They're the ones that make the decisions. They're the ones that have the creative mind. They do things a little bit differently off the beaten path, but it's fun. It's what makes the world go around. In my opinion, that's my opinion. You can have your own. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about all those things that were mentioned: the creativeness, the rapid thoughts that come in your mind that can, are nonstop. The ideas, the creativity, all that to me in the discussion of mental health and being used as a superpower in the frame of entrepreneurship is the way we need to think about it. All right. You need to sometimes just be thankful, maybe, that you are blessed with this disorder. I don't even like using disorder. All right. That just has like I don't know, a negative thought when you say that, but it should be used as a superpower. So when you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed with this, instead of saying a disorder, say, hey, you've got this superpower that lets you think like nobody else, have all these thoughts and energy and creativity. Now it needs to be balanced and taken care of, but it will, when used correctly, help you in the workforce, and especially if you're looking to be an entrepreneur and pave your own path. All right. So that's why I wanted to bring this up and talk about it. I don't want, because I'm sure if entrepreneurs are listening to this and you've dealt with this, or just anybody in the general public, because sometimes it's hard to talk about. I know this is hard to talk about for me, because again, when I was growing up, you didn't talk about it. Now, later on, when I became a teacher, I taught health, and mental health was part of it. It was a great conversation with my class, especially, I had ninth graders, I had middle schoolers. I taught both middle and high school, and talking about mental health, which is such a topic that is well received now, was so great. And just letting individuals know they're not alone out there. I mean, look at these numbers. They're kind of staggering, especially talking about entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about your superpower. You need to let people know, be that platform. That's kind of what I wanted to do. Again, I've dealt with it firsthand. I've been through the highs and lows, and I honestly believe that if I didn't have that superpower, I probably wouldn't be able to pave the path that I have today. Because I will tell you, sometimes when I have a goal and I have a purpose to do something, I get so hyper focused that I don't think anybody can relate unless you have this superpower, because I get in the zone and I can go, go, go to the point where sometimes I have to tell myself to go to bed because it's the best thing you can do right now. So yes. So that's another thing. Let's talk about what you can do if you have these disorders. I will talk about my personal experience. For me, the best things, very, very easy to follow: diet, a clean diet, that is, not putting junk in your body, but a clean diet is something that's helped me out a lot. Exercise, exercise, exercise. All right. When you are hyper and when you are manic, just being able to, something about releasing those endorphins and exercising just mellows you out a little bit, helps you think straight. Y'all wonder why I run so much? Guys, that's my therapy. When I'm out running and I'm releasing those endorphins, there are so many beautiful thoughts that go through my head where I jot, like I'll be running and all these ideas and thoughts will go through my head. I'll run and I'll put notes in my phone, and it is just like a creative genius process when I'm running. That's why I love to run so much, because it just brings out all that. So exercise is huge. You have to be, whether you're just walking or doing some, type of lifting, some type of exercise, you need to do it. And also, I'll say one last thing is sleep. Okay. So diet, exercise, and sleep are the three biggest things that I found. Oh, one more, not using or abusing drugs. Okay, that's another big one. So like alcohol, I don't drink that much anymore. It's just something that doesn't work for me. I'm already in balance, so adding that to me is not the best mix for me. Here and there, it's okay for me. But I found that consuming any type of drug, alcohol, it's not good. It's not the way to go. And I'm speaking on what I've seen. Someone with these type of disorders, I believe, tend to have a little bit more of addictive personality. So I don't think it's the best way to go. Now you can bring that addictive personality into your work and into your family and into the exercise, things like that. Oh man, now that's where the beauty comes, when you can take all these superpowers that you have and have a good diet, have a good exercise, get good sleep. Woo! That is when the beauty comes. Okay. So again, let's look at these disorders again and take out that disorder name and call it superpower. It's what you have. It is something we need to talk about, because you're not alone out there. You heard the numbers as a entrepreneur, and if you are one, that means you're probably more likely to be dealing with one of these superpowers. Okay, so think of it like that. Spread the word. It is a great thing to have. I'm so happy that I got to talk about this topic. If you want to know more about my story, again, diagnosed in seventh grade with bipolar disorder. It was something now I'm dealing with. I'm going to be 40 this month. So again, that's something I've dealt with 33 years of my life. So if you want to learn more from me and my personal journey, please, you can reach out. Love to talk to you about it. I think this is a great topic to discuss. I'm glad that I got to talk about it. I haven't been, I do check off a lot of boxes with the ADHD, so I can relate to a lot of that stuff, being super hyper, not being able to focus a lot in school sometimes because my mind's all over the place. So I can talk on that subject a little bit. But glad I got to talk about today. Super important topic for entrepreneurs, for everybody out there. Just feel safe that you can talk about it. Again, reach out to me if you need anything. I'm so glad that this podcast is happening and I have this platform. Even if one person's listening, I think it'll be great. Y'all have a wonderful day, and until next time, I will see you later.